Okay, we're on, that's not what I wanted. Where's my thing? I forget that Miss Gross' board is always smaller than mine.
It is?
Yeah, my board, this thing shows up right here. I don't know, maybe she just calibrated it later, weird. Alright, so 13.5, oops. 13.5, parallelograms, rhombus, trapezoid. Alright, so first thing is we kind of have to go through what each of them are. First thing is just what parallelograms. If two lines are parallel, check this out. I got this. If two lines are parallel, all that means, remember how when I did two angles, two angles right here and I did this, that means the angles are equivalent? You guys remember that? Or if I did this on two sides, that means those sides are the same length. Well here, any ideas on what this means? If I have two lines and I put these arrows on it, what does that mean about them? Yeah?
They're never gonna hit each other?
Yeah, they're never gonna hit each other. And that is called the two lines being parallel. You guys heard that before? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that means parallel. So a parallelogram, what that means is that you've got not one set of lines in that quadrilateral, but you've got two sets of lines. Now I know this is not actually, like, you guys can tell it's not like perfect, but let's act like it is and not make fun of your teacher in class. If it's anything where you've got not one but two sets of lines that are parallel, that's called a parallelogram. So on the bottom, it's got guided practice 1. You can skip that. Just says, well, actually, let's look through them. Which figures are not parallelograms? So which ones do not have two sides of parallel sides? Let's do the first one, A, B, C, D. Is that parallelogram or not? Yes or no?
No.
It is a parallelogram, actually. Because you can, it's actually a specific kind of parallelogram. What? You guys know that shape. A, B, C, D. You're on the wrong page, dude. Right here. What kind of shape is A, B, C, D?
Rectangle?
A rectangle. What about E, F, G, H? Is that a parallelogram?
Somebody told me we didn't have to do number 1.
Yeah, we didn't. So that's why we're going through it together in class and looking at it. So, are both sides parallel? E, F, G, H. Yes or no?
No.
Nope, they are not. What about K, L, M, N?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. That is a parallelogram.
We're on 9?
Nope, we're on number 1. We're going through each of the figures on the bottom on page 1.
We didn't have to do it, but we're trying.
Yeah, didn't have to do it. We're just going through it right here. So we said parallelogram, not parallelogram, parallelogram. What about that last one? PQRS, is that parallelogram?
No.
No, it's close, but it's not quite a parallelogram. You can get your book. We're on page 211.
So I was right. I did.
Yes, question?
I didn't do it.
Why are they
Number 1?
No, all like I only did 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, we'll just follow along with what we have and we'll go with it. We'll go with it just like that. 212 you can skip over. 213 you can skip over. 214 is where we're at next.
No, 215.
So it says, find the unknown angle measures. First of all, I'm just going to put these on here so that we can tell it's a parallelogram for sure. It says it's a parallelogram on top of that. If this is 80 degrees, I talked about this yesterday. If this is 80 degrees, this one is also
80 degrees.
80 degrees.
Well, it's not really.
Is that true for all parallelograms?
No.
Yes, it is. All parallelograms, opposite
Not that
angles
one.
are going to be the same. Now this isn't exactly like the one in the book. I'm just trying to draw it as best I can. I'm on page 214. 80 and 80, and remember, so in a triangle, all of the angles add up to how much? 180. In something with 4 sides, if something has 4 sides, what's the name for that?
A quadrilateral.
A quadrilateral. So in any any quadrilateral, the quad means what?
Four.
Four. So in any four-sided shape, it doesn't matter. Can I help you?
Just as the same way, and I was whispering to him if he could please move because I can't see the board if he's standing right in front of me. Couldn't hear him.
Okay, thank you. So in any four-sided quadrilateral, does it have to be a parallelogram?
No.
No, in any four sides. So as long as all sides are straight, I can go whoop, 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 and like this. That's not a parallelogram, but all of those angles are still going to add up to 360 degrees. So in a quadrilateral, all of them add up to 360 degrees. This is a quadrilateral. This is 80 and this is 80. That is a total of what so far?
160.
160. And I have 360 total. So how do I figure out how many angles to split between these two?
360 minus 1. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, 160.
360 minus 160, which is?
40. This one's going to take me a little bit.
Yep.
I'm a minute.
This should not take you a little bit. 0 minus 0 is?
0.
6 minus 6 is?
0. And it's
3
2.
minus
It's
1.
200.
So I have, that means this angle is 200 degrees?
No.
What does it mean?
That's both of
Why
them.
is it 100 degrees?
Because 200 divided by 2 is 100.
Why are you just assuming that these are the exact same?
Because it's a parallelogram.
Because it's a parallelogram and opposite angles are always the same. So that means we have 200 between these two, which makes this one 100 degrees and this one 100 degrees. Same thing. Alright, guided practice on page 215. Let's just kind of talk through those. So it says find the measure of angle S. That's the opposite one. Well, if Q is 70, then S is 70. Number 3, if B is 56, then A.
34.
56.
34.
Okay, so this one, we're gonna talk about something else. So this one is this one's 56, right?
Yes.
So we know this is gonna be 56. But the one we're looking for is this one right here. There's something else about anytime you have two angles in a row, what do you think they're gonna add up to? Two angles right next to each other. What are they gonna add up to? They always, in a quadrilateral, in a parallelogram, they always add up to this number. What?
180.
180. So these are gonna be a total of 180. So if these are a total of 180, this is 56. How do you figure out this one?
180 minus 56.
Yep, 180 minus 56. Let's see, that's 10, 7, 124.
1,240.
No, 124, that's the degrees.
Before it was like,
Not a zero, otherwise it would be way bigger. So 124.
Yay!
How?
How? How what?
How is it?
How is this 124?
124.
So if you actually want to double check everything, we know all these add up to 360, right? 56, 56, add them up, that's 112. We do 360 minus 112.
No, just add a line through the subtraction.
Exactly.
248. Divide 248 by 2. Boom, 124. I proved it. Your mind's exploding, right?
No, you
Not
can
quite?
do the math.
Next time? What?
So
Or you could
confused.
just do the math.
You can do all this stuff, but I'm telling you that if it's a parallelogram, if these are not parallel, then you're not going to find that to be true. But as long as it's a parallelogram, consecutive angles right next to each other are always going to add up to
Why
180.
didn't you do 360 minus 124?
360 what?
Why didn't you do 360 minus 124?
Because he was asking how do we know this is 124? So I said, well, hey, we already know 56 plus 56, that's 112. So if I do 360 minus these two angles, that's going to give me the total of these two. And then I subtract 112, so 248, that's the total of these two angles. I divide that by 2, that's how I get to 124. That's the longer way of doing it. The shorter way of doing it is that anytime you have consecutive angles right next to each other, so these two, or these two, as long any of those two angles, they're always gonna add up to 180, the two of them. Yep. Okay, why don't you guys go over guy practice 5 again. Yes.
I bought this new Samsung.
Oh, look at
I
this.
had my cheapest iPhone for 20 minutes now. It's still not
This is
open. Still not open.
2000.
Yeah, you use my phone.
Okay, number, which one did I say, 6?
5.
Alright, 5, we have 1 is 104,
So X is 104.
so Z is 104, and we're looking for the measures of all the other ones. We already know X across from that is gonna be what?
104.
104, and we know the other two are gonna be both what? Because if you have, that's total, okay, that's so bad, I gotta redo it.
Oh, what page are we on?
Bro.
Oh, what page are we on?
Same one, bro.
That's not much better, is it?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do this.
What? I kind of see the shape now.
Okay, we'll just
It's a little funky.
stop messaging on there.
Yeah, it has.
Wish I could just turn those notifications off. Nah, because it's still up there. Hey, I can do this. Huh. There. Alright, so we know this one's 104, so this one is also,
104.
and these are consecutive, so if this is 104, we have to do 180 minus 104 to find this, which is 180 minus 104 is,
The 96.
nope, that would be 200. That would be 200 minus 104, yeah?
It's 70. Hang on, I just. Oh, it's 76.
Yep, 76. If this is 76, then this is,
76.
there you go.
I lost it for a second.
Okay, and then, oh, this one is clever. I'm gonna see if you guys can figure this one
Oh,
out.
geez.
Number 6,
Get this one. I couldn't figure it out.
you could or could not?
I couldn't figure it out. It's possible.
Nope, you guys actually know how to do this one already.
Wait, let's say O.
I know.
Did you say O?
Okay, so, oh, sorry, I have one more line to draw. Right there. Alright, so we've got 75 and 25. So we already know at least one more angle. What one other angle do we know in here? Yeah?
We know what F is.
Is that the, yep, this one? This one is what?
75.
Yep. Okay,
Oh.
can anybody tell me, how do we figure out one more, because we've got this angle, this angle, this angle, and this one angle. Well, yep, what?
This thing was 25.
Yes, this angle is 25, what else?
How do you know that?
There is, because these are opposites
Oh, I
from
see.
each other. So we know these two are the same too, but how do we figure that out? How do we figure out what this angle is? Yep.
These two, if you were to flip this, it'd be the same exact as this. And that is 80 degrees.
Okay, you're right, it is 80 degrees. You didn't explain how you knew that though.
Because this line and up, this whole spot has to be 180. And these two
Yeah,
are
so what
180.
he's saying, I'm going to explain it a little bit differently. This is the same thing you said though. These three angles have to add up to what?
180.
180. If you already know two of them, you can figure out what the third one is. What is 25 plus 75?
180.
25 plus 75 is 180?
It's 100.
100. Add those up, you get 100. If these two are 100, this one is automatically,
80.
and if this one's 80,
That one's 80.
boom.
Look at how much you know.
Alright, and stop. Alright, on number 7 and 8. So ABCD is a parallelogram. Find the measure of DBC. Oh, we're definitely doing this one. This one's great.
What number are we on?
Which way is it cut? This way?
7. So, 7.
Okay, so 125. Whoops. 125. Did I say 120? Oh, just 20.
I know, that's
Okay, let's do one angle at a time.
Uh-oh.
Someone who I haven't called on yet. Okay, well, if you know that, how about if I call you, you get it right this time. Tell me one other angle. One other angle.
25.
I think I know what one.
One other angle. Yeah.
I know what B is. It's 120.
B. So, you mean this whole thing right here?
Well, half of it.
Which part? This part or this part? Top or bottom?
Because in the book it says that half of D is 120, not just 20.
No, D?
It doesn't say half of D. It doesn't say it was exactly cut in half.
D is 120.
It doesn't say 120. It says D is the B8 BDC. So
Oh, it is 20.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I think I know what one where.
okay, this is not working for me. Tell me one other angle in here. Come up and point to it.
Go, Martha. Go.
And I'll point to him. You tell me if you know what it is. This one?
20.
This one is 20? Can you assume these two are the same thing?
No.
No. What about this one?
20.
Are you sure?
No.
This one? You can't just assume. What about this one? Yeah, 125. Because in a parallelogram, opposite angles are the same. What's the opposite angle from this one then? Yeah, come and point out. What's the opposite angle from this one right here? With top or bottom? Top or bottom? Yep. This is also 20.
35.
Okay, so how do we know that this is 35?
Because it equals 180.
What does?
This whole side.
Yeah, this whole side is 180. So, also, there's another way we can figure it out. This is a triangle, right? If we already have two of the triangle measures, all we need to do is figure out what that third one is. 120, 125, boom, we know what this one is. Or 20, 125, boom, we know what this one is. Either way, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
25 plus 20, 125 plus 20 is
145.
145. 180 minus 145 is 35. And 35.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Alright, and last one.
8?
Yep.
I didn't get this one either. This one is amazing to me.
Whoa, that's not what I want.
Ow.
No. Back to your desks. Now. Okay, so we've got, this is a, oh, this is not like that actually.
Nope.
Can I help you?
So much more.
What?
And I gotta get another pencil because that was my last pencil.
You got one in the front of the desk you can use for right now. You don't have to break it. I said you could use it for right now. Okay, what do we notice about this shape right here? It's not a what?
No, not even.
It's not, yeah, it's not a parallelogram. Exactly, thank you.
What's a parallelogram?
Really close.
Where opposite sides are equal. So that's not, this is not a parallelogram, but if you include this extra triangle,
It's a parallelogram.
The whole thing is, you just have to remove this right here. So let's just figure out what we know. We know this is 48, and we know this is a,
Right angle.
which means it's how much?
90 degrees.
90-degree angle. Alright, what else can we figure out? One other angle we can figure out from here then. Yes,
S, you can figure out S.
which is what?
I'm pretty sure it's 48.
Yep, you're right, it's 48.
And
What else? Yes,
T. 40 or
T is, so
T is
this,
90 degrees.
okay. That one's also 90,
alright, pretty good.
Oh, and
yeah?
since all that equals what it equals, yeah. So the other one by the 48, yeah,
Mhm.
that. It's 100 and well, no, 122 degrees.
Okay, you're doing that all in your head. We want stuff on the board so we can figure out how. Yes?
I don't get how right next to 90 is 90 degrees because can I go up to the board and
Sure.
show you?
Yep.
I thought since it's right here, that was 90 degrees.
But there ain't no line.
So that ain't no line. There is not any line. There is not a line. So this right here, this is not a this is not included in part of the parallelogram. When you're thinking of what the parallelogram is, you have to take this part out. Because this and this are parallel. This part right here is not part of the parallelogram. So just because this is 90 doesn't make this 90. You have to figure out what all of this is, and then that tells us what this is. So let's think. If this is 48, how do we figure out these two combined? Yeah?
40 plus.
What?
Oh, never mind.
What are these two